Welcome back to the Virtual Compound Shorts. Listen in as we hear the dramatic finish to Amelia's Australia and New Zealand trip and receive some of our virtual compound recommendations.
So I don't know if anything could have gone wrong with that trip aside from your return story.
Listen, I still have trauma. So the airline we took was not great. And every single flight on this particular airline was delayed by like several hours. So on our return trip, our flight path was Christchurch to Melbourne, and then we changed planes in Melbourne, have a little bit of a layover, and then go Melbourne to Tokyo. And I have said this several times, I packed carry-ons. And they were like, oh, the flight's full, we can't do this kind of carry-on or whatever. And I really didn't want to give up my carry-ons, but they basically made us check our
Carry-ons as bags.
Yeah, and I was not super happy about this. I like joke that I have ESP, but I was like, this is gonna be bad. Like, this is not gonna be great. Whatever. So we get to our gate, and our flight's delayed. And it's still delayed. And I go up and I'm like, hi, we're going to miss our connecting flight in Melbourne. Oh, and backing up, I totally forgot about this. They changed our flight times.
Oh.
Like completely. The day before we were taking off. Like they changed times. And there wasn't really much notification. I only saw it because I went to check in, like online to our flights. So I get to, and they're like, oh yeah, well, we can't rebook you on your flight until you've missed your flight. But I'm gonna miss my flight while I'm in the air.
Right.
Like, and you know
that I'm going to miss the flight.
Takes off, like the flight from Melbourne to Tokyo takes off while this one's in the air. Like, even if we left right now, I'm still missing this flight. So could we just rebook the flight? And they were like, no. And I was like, okay, whatever. We get on our flight. We get to Melbourne. Come to find out, that flight that we were supposed to miss was delayed. So we like call and we make it to this flight that's delayed several hours, thank God. And get it wasn't great. It was bumpy and it was awful, and the flight wasn't great, and the food was terrible. And we land in Tokyo, and it's like midnight, and we're waiting for our bags. And none appear.
Oh no.
All of my carry-on bags that I was forced to check are somewhere. And it's a common like misconception that everyone that works in airports speaks English.
Yeah.
Especially in Japan. So through Google Translate, we find out that they don't actually know where our bags are. They'll find them.
Oh.
Like, we'll get them to you, like, on Monday or something. So we go to our hotel, and we sleep the night, and we think, we're going to have bags. We don't have bags. And then, like, back and forth with them, and they're like, it's going to take, like, 30 days.
Oh, jeez.
To get your bags. And our bags, like, again, I've kind of, like, blocked this because I have trauma. Like, long calling Australia, being like, where are our bags? And they're like, we don't know. And then there was one, like, oh, we found it. It's in Tokyo, but it's going to take 2 weeks to get to you. And this is after we'd gotten back from Okinawa. It's like, is it swimming here? Like, it's in Tokyo. So put it on one of these many flights that leave Tokyo and go to Okinawa.
Yeah.
You don't even need to get it to my house. I'll go pick it up at the airport. Put it on a plane? How is it? Why does it take 2 weeks? Is it going on a boat? Like, what? An airplane. How did it get to you? Did it not get to you on an airplane? Oh, and then they said, oh yeah, we got 2 of your bags and we're sending them to you. And then maybe a day-ish after that, they were like, okay, so one of those bags isn't your bag.
Oh.
And you to refuse delivery of it.
Oh, jeez.
And I was like, I'm sorry, I don't speak Japanese.
Right.
Have you ever refused delivery of something to the Black Cat drivers? Well,
No.
kind of force you to take the thing. So come to find out, like, some person got our bag, and we got their bag. All that to say, my luggage came in, like, waves. And it was,
Like the song.
yes. And it was the least useful luggage came first. Right? I was
Of
like,
course it would.
great. I don't actually need anything in this. Because it's like Josh, like, no, Clara's came first. Like, she didn't need any of that. And then I think Josh's, and then Samurai, and then we had an extra bag that had, like, all of our souvenirs, and that's, like, what I wanted most out of everything.
Right.
But eventually our luggage came, and some of it came, like, 37 days later.
Oh my gosh. It
Oh
really did
my
take more than
gosh.
30 days.
It really did take more than 30 days.
Was there any kind of compensation?
So this makes me mad.
Oh no.
They gave us $240 US.
Really?
Yeah. I was super upset. Because I was like, I did have to go and buy some stuff.
Yeah.
Because we were in Tokyo for a day without our bags. So, like,
You had
I
nothing.
always pack a change of clothes.
Like in your personal, like, bag.
No, in our carry-ons. So I don't know why I did this. Very quickly, because the kids, like, change of clothes are always in a plastic baggie. And I do that in case, like, because it's like if something spills, right? You don't want to put their dirty clothes in your bag. So I put their clean clothes in a baggie, so then I can put their dirty clothes in the baggie. I had very quickly, like, just grabbed their change of clothes out of the suitcases.
Like before
and, like,
you checked them.
yeah, and chucked it in the bag, but only theirs. So they had clothes, but they didn't have pajamas, which isn't that big of a deal. They just kind of slept in their clothes. But they had a change of clothes, but it was like warm weather change of clothes, so they didn't have jackets. Sam had nothing. We had toothbrushes.
Yay.
Yeah.
Like, we all had to buy socks, and you can't just buy, like, one pair of socks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, you can think. Think Family Mart.
I actually was going to ask you to send me some. I saw some the other day. I was like, wait, I don't have any Family Mart socks. I need to ask Amelia to.
I have, like, every kind. My teens are obsessed.
Oh yeah, and I sent Emma the chicken ones.
You did? I don't think so.
Yeah, I sent her the chicken socks. It was in her 18th birthday box. Yeah, they're like the Fammy chicken color. It was with the
I'll
towel.
have to ask her. I don't know. I haven't seen them. And she would wear them. They might not have made it in there. I won't even mention the other
like
things that may not have arrived.
Right. Like ours either. The faces we're making right now, all of us.
You told me to expect other things, but no other things did come.
That's fine.
You did get a refund on the second attempt at Lexi's Christmas present, right?
I did.
Okay,
yes.
good.
Well, at least there's that.
There's that.
Someday these things are going to show up, and we all will live in different places.
Yes.
And 10 years down the line, these things will show up. And we'll be like, oh, there
it was.
Or, like, it'll show up, like, next Christmas when she, like, doesn't care about the fairy flyer anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whatever.
All right. Well, returning around from that tangent.
Now we are going to switch gears. Oh,
Yes.
We can do it.
We're going to switch gears and we're going to talk about what we're reading. I just finished a series. It's a very short series. It's like candy reading, and I have a problem because I will find books that are like available now on the reading app because I read before bed and lights and all the things. And I read these books that like they do have a good storyline, but they're not like really well written. Like I could go I found flaws and errors, like they need to be edited a little bit better. But it was like a cute story and it was different. And so I'm gonna recommend, with the understanding that this is pure like fun reading and not in any way educational or quality writing. This is just like, oh, that's a fun little story. It's by Jennifer Hart or Jennifer L. Hart. It's called Murder al Dente. And then she also had Murder al Fresco and something else that had to do with eating. I'm missing the second one. But anyway, it's like a Southern pasta shop mystery. And she's like this chef, and between every chapter, there is a recipe that either pertains to the book or like the storyline in some way. And it's just kind of like a cute little fast read. But it did like keep me engaged and kind of surprise me. And I'm like, when it comes to mystery books, I can almost always like figure out who done it, what's coming, what's happening. And that one kind of surprised
Oh,
me.
gotcha.
So that's my little recommendation, even though
Alright.
it'd make a better movie because it kind of reads like a script in the sense that like it does not go into like great detail and you're a little bit like, wait, what?
Right.
So
Some of those
yeah.
do make really good movies.
Yeah,
Um,
I think they would. I think it'd be, a cute little
alright.
series. Yeah,
Got it. I'll look into
Amelia.
that one.
I am reading Innocents Abroad by Mark Twain,
Hmm.
and I am not very far into this book, so I cannot comment too much on it. So it's good I'm next because it's short. Thus far, I really like it. I think it is really good, and it's really interesting to read. It's about, he went on like this giant boat tour of um, Europe and the Middle East. It's a really, really, really great book thus far. It's really interesting to read after like my travels.
Yeah.
And also like what they considered luxury, I would probably die.
Drastically different.
Yeah. Yes.
All right. Good to know.
Awesome.
I just finished this book today actually, and mine is not going to be quite as happy as I had hoped that it was going to be. So it's The Prisoner's Throne by Holly Black, and it's the second book of the Stolen Heir duology, which is a spin-off from The Cruel Prince. And I don't know if you guys read that series of like the three. They're fairy based, like literally in fairy back and forth based. And she's an amazing writer, and I don't know if this one was the narrator or the fact that it was written like as the spin-off, but it was a lot harder to get through. And it's still good because she still does great with her world building, but I really struggled, and I almost sent Lacey a message this morning because I knew that like a certain part was coming and I needed to like vent, and Amelia was asleep, so I couldn't like say anything. And I almost sent you a message like, I don't know if I can make it through this part. And it was just like, I don't it's building up as if it's all truly going to crash down and there's not enough time to fix it anymore, and I don't know. It was still good. Unfortunately, I've given her other books like 5 stars. This one's like a 3.7. Like, and it's not that maybe it would have been different if I had read it versus the narrator
Yeah.
himself is not necessarily bad, but I think what it is that his narrations didn't match the narrations of her other books, like in tone, and so it made like it changed the world. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it changed the world that I was living in, and all the names were the same, the places were the same, but the feeling was very different.
Yeah.
And that one was, I really wanted to love it. I was so excited. It popped up like yesterday, the day before is like the new release. So I mean, this book literally just came out, and this is probably an unpopular opinion, and I just Anyway, I was fine
Yeah.
with the ending, all of that stuff. I would still recommend somebody read it. It's still good. I just recommend somebody read it. Don't listen
Yeah.
to it. That's
Yeah.
probably the best option. So, yeah, that's what we're doing.
Hmm.
But then we're going to transition into our random recommendations because we like to do both sets. And I stuck with Amelia's theme of travel. And it's also what we used for moving when we moved to Japan because Lexi was only 3 and we got the blow up
Mm-hmm.
footrests that can turn into an infant bed, like a little one's bed.
Yes.
And we had 2 different ones. One that was only one size, you blew it all the way up or you didn't have it. And then we had another one that could blow up into 3 different sizes. So you could
Mm-hmm.
blow up 2/4 or 2/3, 1/3, or the whole thing. And that was a lifesaver. I had one for me where I just blew up a little bit, and it's amazing how much just raising your feet like 4 inches
Yeah.
changes. And then Lexi, we put it up as soon as the stewardess said that we were in the air and we could put them up. I did that and then put a blanket down across so that things didn't like fall in the cracks. And then
Mm-hmm.
she could flop around and color and lay there, and then she could lay down and go to sleep, or she could prop her iPad up, and it was so much better than um than all kinds of other stuff. And I remember when people were saying that they were leaving Island, they were like, "What do we need? What do you recommend?" And we're like, "This, but if you can't get it in time, you can use mine and just bring it back whenever you
Yeah.
get back." So I
Yeah.
recommend those. You can get them on Amazon. They're just
Mm-hmm.
airline pillows for like blow up foot.
Or footrest or
Yeah,
something.
they come.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're footrest, but they're also will be advertised as like baby like
Yeah.
things.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Like baby
That was a savior for us too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those were
Yeah.
amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
And people looked at us
Um.
like blew them up at first. And then they were like jealous.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. I just about passed out trying to blow the thing up, but it was
Yeah.
worth it.
Mine is super practical and not at all travel, and it is a good set of knives. I
Mm,
like do a little bit of research, and like my husband got me a Japanese set of knives, but like from Williams Sonoma or Crate and Barrel or something. And I can't tell you how easy it is and how much of a breeze it is cooking every day. I cook a lot all the time. I'm in the kitchen, and a good set of knives can't go wrong. But you need to wash them by hand because if you put them in the dishwasher, they bang up against others, they dull faster, they get spots and not as good, and the handles can get wonky. So, good set of knives and wash them by hand. That's my random recommendation.
we had wanted to buy new Japanese knives when we got to Japan. And it wasn't until we were leaving that we found out which knives we needed. And that's when I told Amelia, I was like, you may have to go to Don Q for me to go get these knives.
Well, there's
And that's
some really
those
good ones out
that
gate too, as well.
I would go in that store for you.
I know. I'm not going to make you go in there. Just, you
I
can
will
do. All right, go with your recommendation, Amelia. I won't make you go.
My recommendation is a Yodo player. We got them for the kids for Christmas this year and used them on our travels. And I really like it because it is not a screen, but you can put like music and books and podcasts and stuff on them. And they're super easy to use, and you can listen to it with headphones, or they can take the headphones out and listen to it together, like a little like box thing. Yeah, they're fantastic. Highly recommend, especially if you're trying to like cut down on screen time.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yep.
So are they run on batteries?
They charge.
Oh, nice.
Oh, amazing.
That's really awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really cool.
Thank you for listening today. Please check us out on Facebook and Instagram for more content and let us know what your favorite part of the episode is.